Recording in progress.
Have you ever noticed that certain flavors just seem to go together? One of my favorite combinations of flavors are blended flavors, peanut butter and chocolate. Oh man, what's yours? This week in our My Family video series, devotional series, we're going to be looking at blended families. And our author for this week talks about blended families. Now, in one sense, every family is a blended family. I want you to think about this. Stay with me for just a minute. Because a man and a woman come together from different backgrounds, and even if it's their only relationship they've ever had of this nature, and they produce children, then in one sense, that's a blended family because dad comes from one background, mom comes from another, and they're trying to blend those backgrounds together to create their own family environment. But by definition, a blended family is a family consisting of a couple and their children from their previous relationship and then blending them together in a current relationship. Now, there are many reasons that we have blended families, and really both of the reasons, or at least two of the reasons that we might have a blended family are sometimes difficult to deal with: death and divorce. A wife loses her husband and she finds a mate that has children as well, and they form a new family, a blended family. There's some issues that come about as a result of that. A couple divorces for whatever reason, and again, they find a mate and bring their families together, and there are issues that are connected with that as well. But the case is, the fact of the matter is that either case, these can be difficult circumstances, but they're reality. That's the reality of life. And so in the church, we need to do all we can to minister to blended families. Now, our author for this week, Mark Ray, uses the family of Timothy, the evangelist, in the scriptures as an example of a blended family. I don't know if it's exactly what I would call a blended family, but we do know that his mother and his father came from different religious backgrounds. And so in the very least, it was a divided family religiously. And it seems that Timothy's mother had a greater influence on him, and his grandmother had a greater influence on him religiously than his father did. And so this illustrates one of the issues that result when we have blended families. Well, in the body of Christ, we need to value all families, no matter what shape or what size that they might have. And we need to do all we can to reach out and encourage and bless those families. And so over the course of the next 3 or 4 days, the devotionals for this week talk about some things that we in the body of Christ and as individual Christians can do to help and minister to blended families. And he suggests basically 3 things in the last 3 devotionals of this week. First, he says that we ought to pray for blended families, pray that they are able to overcome the differences that they face coming from different backgrounds and different situations. Maybe pray that they are able to deal with the issues of trauma or grief that they might be dealing with as a result of the reasons that there's a blended family to begin with. And so we need to pray for blended families. And by the way, we need to pray for all families, don't we? But especially for families that are facing some challenges that are unique to blended families. And then he says we need to encourage blended families. It would be one thing for us to shun a family that comes from a background that is perhaps different from the traditional nuclear family where one man and one woman come together and form a family because of the various circumstances. And it's easy to point fingers or to place blame or to look at those people in perhaps a different or unique way. We need to do all we can to encourage them, to reach out to them, to incorporate them into our fellowship, not only in terms of worship, but then involve them in our lives and let's be an encouragement to them. We're admonished in scriptures in Hebrews chapter 10 to encourage one another and to love one another and support one another, to love and good works. And so certainly blended families have some unique opportunities to do good works, and we have to encourage them in that regard. And then We also need to, in the body of Christ, reach out to blended families, perhaps blended families in our own communities that are hurting for some reason, maybe again because of trauma or grief or some difficulty that they may have faced that have caused them to have to come together. Certainly, we need to think about one category of a kind of blended family, and that is a foster family. And I think that most of us are aware of the great need for children who are in foster care, in the care or in the wards of the state, that they need someone to love them and care for them. And this can be a different kind of blended family. So let's reach out and comfort and encourage and help those families as well. So blended families are a reality. They may not necessarily be what the big picture plan was for either of the people that might be involved in that family, but blended families often result as or come about as a result of some difficult circumstances, some challenging circumstances, and we need to do all we can to encourage and help and bless them. I hope and pray that this has helped your family, if you're a traditional nuclear family, or if you're a blended family, or even if you're a single person who is looking to help families. I hope it's encouraged you to think about the challenges facing every family, but especially blended families. Here at the Red Bank Church of Christ, we value families of all kinds. And if there's anything we can do to help your family, then please let us know. Make it known to us by giving us a call, sending us an email, getting on our website and contacting us in that way. But let us know what we can do to help you. We'd love to see you. We'd love to do what we can to reach out to you. Thank you so much for watching today. God bless you. Have a great day.